Okay, so we're doing page 24. We're doing modern Canada. And let's see. Diala, would you like to start reading?
Okay.
Please.
Boster Canada enjoyed record prosperity and material progress. The world restrictive trading policies in the Depression era were opened up by such treaties as the General Agreement on Tariff and Trade GATT. Now the World Trade Organization WTO, the discovery of oil in Alberta in 1947 began Canada's modern energy industry. In 1951, for the first time, a majority of Canadians were able to afford adequate food, shelter, and clothing between 1945 and 1970. As Canada drew closer to the United States and other trading partners, the country enjoyed one of the strongest economies among industrialized nations. Today, Canadians enjoy one of the world's highest standards of living, maintained by the hard work of Canadians and by trade with other nations, in particular the United States.
Very good. Very good. Okay, let's look at some of the things here that they often ask in questions. Um, the general agreement on tariffs and trade. So, and the World Trade Organization. Those are, Canada is a strong country and rich because we trade. We trade with other countries. And the two reasons, we trade with other countries and we work hard. Those are the two reasons that Canada is successful. And so we're part of the World Trade Organization. And this one here is often a question. Canada's modern energy industry. It started in 1947 when they found oil in Alberta. That is usually a question. And then this one here, it says, this is interesting. And for the first time, a majority of Canadians were able to afford adequate food, shelter, and housing, shelter and clothing. So it wasn't until 1951 that Canadians had enough food and they had enough clothes and they had good housing. So that wasn't that long ago. So it was, 1951. That's when most Canadians could have food, clothing, and shelter. And then and often another question that comes up is these years, 1945 to 1970, Canada and the United States became very close. So they did a lot of trading, and that was a very good time for Canada. We had lots of money, and we were doing he had a strong economy. And so that's because we worked closely with the United States. And it says Canada's enjoys one of the world's highest standards of living. The standard of living is, how well you live. Do you have a job? Do you have maybe a house or a nice apartment? Do you have enough food? Do you have enough clothes? Are you healthy? That's a standard of living. And so Canada has a very high standard of living because we trade with other countries all over the world, but mostly the United States. We trade, and it says we work hard. So that's just some of the main questions that they ask in this part here. So if you kind of try to remember those things, I think you'll be fine for for the questioning there. Okay, let's see. Is Manal here today? Manal, are you here today? No? Okay.
He's not here.
She's not here? Okay. Let's see. Zaniba, would you like to read this one here? As prosperity grew. I'm just going to tell you this word here, prosperity. Does anybody know what that word means?
Prosperity.
Have you ever seen that word before, prosperity? Anybody have any idea? What it means is it means people become rich. So it says as prosperity grew, that means as Canadians became richer, the Canadians had more money and the country had more money. That's what prosperity means. It means to be prosperous, means to be have money and to be rich. Yeah. So could you read this part here, please, Zidib?
As prosperity grow, so did the ability to support social assistance programs. The Canada Health Act insurance common elements and basic standard of the coverage. Unemployment insurance, now called employment insurance, was introduced this is new by the federal government in 1940. And this one, what is teacher? Wait.
The next one there,
Yeah,
old
age. Yeah, he's
old,
covering that.
You got it? Okay.
Yes, old age security was devised as early as 1927, and the Canada and Quebec pension plans in the 1965 publicly funded education is provided by the province and territories.
Very good. Very good.
That's
Yeah, all the words were perfect there. Very good. So this is what this says that Canada started to have money. We started to trade with other countries, and so we had money. And what Canada did with that money is help people in Canada that didn't have money. So help the different people that needed help. So that's what we did with the money, a lot of the money, when prosperity. So and this is why this is important, because this is part of Canada, the way we look at our country. We want to help people, that don't have a lot. So it's very important the way to look at Canada. And so one of these social assistance programs, a social assistance program, that means it helps people that needs help. The government helps people that need help. That's basically what it is. And so the Canadian Health Act, it says everybody gets covered. Everybody can have health care. Everybody can go to a doctor. Everybody can go to the hospital, and we don't have to pay. And so that's very, very important, especially now with all the problems we have with COVID and everything. So it's very important. So that's the Canadian Health Act. That started when Canada started to get money. The other thing is called unemployment insurance, or call it employment insurance. And so when you're working, and then maybe you lose your job, maybe the company goes under, and you don't have a job, the government will help you, give you money until you find a new job. That's called employment insurance. And so this is probably important. This date here. Try to remember this date, 1940, for employment insurance. Because that's sometimes a question. When did employment insurance start, or 1940? And the other one is 1927. This old age security was devised. Devised means to think, somebody thought of it. They thought of it in 1927. Does anybody know what old age security is? Does anybody know what that is?
Security.
Pardon me?
Is that security? I see.
Yeah. Old age security. Does anybody know what that means? What that is?
Security is maybe the one we know, the guard, the one security guard, or
Yeah. That's kind of what it means.
That's the one.
So a security means to protect you, right? It means protect.
Protect, yeah.
Yeah, right. So if it's old age security, that means it protects old people and people when they get older. So what happens when you get older, when you get to be 65 in Canada, the government will give you money to live. And so it's called old age security, because we want to look after the older people in our country. And so the security means that we protect them. We want to protect the old people. And that's exactly what it means, like the guards, like the security guards, but this is just for old people. So we protect our old people in Canada. And that was they thought of that in 1927. And then the other one is often a question is this Canada and Quebec pension plans in 1965. Does anybody know what a pension plan is? Have you ever heard of that before? Anybody?
Which one, teacher?
This one here where it says Canada and Quebec pension plans. Have you heard that word pension before?
No, just planned. I know plans only.
Yeah, plans is, that's okay. That's what I need to know.
It's for people when they have the old one, 65, when they stay home, no work.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Right. Good, yeah. So
Yeah.
what you do is you're working when you're young, and the government takes a little bit of money from every paycheck, and then when you're older, they give you the money back.
Yeah.
And so yeah, exactly. Yeah, they help you when you're older, when you're like in your 50s or older. I think it's 60. I don't know what it is now. I don't know what, I think it's 60 something. So when you become older and you can't work, you get your you get that money back.
When they retired and this thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, because so the government takes a little bit of money. In Canada, there's one for all of Canada and there's one for Quebec too. And they're separate. But they started that in 1965. Yeah, so those are the most important things. The health care, everybody gets health care. If you lose employment insurance, if you lose your job, the government will help you. That was 1940. Old age security, helping older people, to live, and the pension one where you retire in 1965. And then the other one is publicly funded education is provided by the provinces and territories. So you don't have to pay to go to school. Everybody gets to go to school. And so Canada started having money, and these are the things they put the money into to make our country better. Yeah. So try to remember those dates, because I know the questions come up with those dates, and I'm sure you'll get them right when we get to those questions. Okay, let's see now. We have to make sure everybody gets a good chance to read. Now we have Mohammed, we have Rashid, we have Ghazala, and we have Manal. Okay, Manal, would you like to read this one here where it says international engagement? Can you read that part, please?
International engagement, like Australians.
That's right.
New Zealand and other countries. Canada developed its autonomy gradually with a capacity to make Sin, sin, Significant. What this word, teacher?
No, you almost got it. I didn't want to speak because you almost got it. So when you have a big word like that, try to break it down into little parts. So it's
Sin,
significant.
sin,
Significant. Significant.
significant.
Yeah.
Can
Con-
troubleshoot.
Yeah, yeah.
Troubleshoot.
Contributions.
And proportion.
Yeah.
And
You get all the big words.
oh my God, too much big. All big.
What's this one here? What's this one?
Entering to Chile. Yeah?
Oh, it was really close. Internationally.
Internationally. Yeah.
Very
I
good.
continue?
Yeah, go for I want to make sure everybody gets a chance. You want to continue?
I try.
You try. Okay, try a little bit and
The-
then yeah.
Yeah.
I want to make sure
The
everybody gets.
Code War beginning when severely liberty countries of extreme Europe become part of a communities place controlled by the surface union
Yeah, keep going.
under the store just stealing.
Okay, stop. Please stop.
Yeah, stop.
No, you got the hardest words. Those
Yeah,
are.
yeah, I
You
know.
got, so let's just talk about the ideas. No, that was good. You did. So whenever
Thank you.
whenever you get the big words like that, just go slow and try to break them into small pieces. Because you were saying them right. That's how English works. We take big words and we like to make them in small pieces, and then we can understand. Okay, so let's just talk about this international engagement. Does anybody know what engagement means? That word engagement. Does anybody know what that word means? Anybody? Okay. International, we know what that
Receive.
means. Oh, sorry. What did you say?
Brian, many people engage in
To receive. To receive. Oh,
Receive? Sorry, Rashid, I didn't understand you.
receiving. I say receiving something. I think.
Engagement, yeah. It's like receiving. It's like receiving. And then Gazella, what did you say also?
Gazala, she said about international
many
engagement.
people,
Yeah. What does that mean?
people Brian give and take and our brain. I don't talk English.
No, that's good. You did well. People give and take. Is that what you said? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it means. Engagement means how we talk and work with other countries. That's an international engagement. So give and take. Yeah, we give you this, we take that back and forth. And you're right too, Rashid. Receive, receive information. Engaging. Engaging means to work together and kind of talking with other countries. Yeah. So that's what it means by international engagement. What Canada does in the world. Yeah, that's what it means. So let's just see what it says here. So like Australia and New Zealand, Canada developed its autonomy gradually with a capacity to make significant contributions internationally. So like Australia and New Zealand, Canada was controlled by Great Britain, weren't we, for a long time? And we got our autonomy. Autonomy means to do things on your own. developed its autonomy gradually. So we slowly were able to do things on our own, away from Great Britain. And so we had a capacity. Capacity means you have the ability to make really good, to make significant contributions, to do really good things in the world, away from Great Britain, just on our own. Yeah, so that's what international engagement. Before, Great Britain would be, you know, tell Canada what to do, but now Canada was away from Great Britain, like Australia, like New Zealand, and we were doing our own thing in the world and doing good things. That's what it said. And then poor Manal, I gave her this part here. This is difficult to read.
Hey, Brian.
Oh, hi, Mazen, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
How
I'm
many
good.
people are here? This is a record. I think we have a record today, the most amount of people. That's very good. Okay, so the Cold War. Have you ever heard that word before, the term Cold War? Have you ever heard that word before? So what that means is,
Yeah, the Cold War. Yeah.
yeah, what's the Cold War? Was that Rashid? Or who knows? Can somebody tell me what the Cold War?
The Cold War, like I can't explain it, but I know about it. Yeah.
You know what it is? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, the Cold War is, so the communists and the Soviet Union, so Russia and the communists, they were controlled by Joseph Stalin. Okay, so what the Cold War was, the countries that were not communist, like you know, France and England and United States and all these other countries they had a thing called a Cold War. We weren't really fighting Russia, but we were trying to work against them because they were trying to take over Europe. So we didn't have a war. They called it a Cold War. That's what it means in English when we say Cold War. We weren't fighting with, you know, guns, but we were still fighting. And so all the people, you know, Canada and England and United States and France and many countries were helping the countries in Europe get away from the communists. And then so many of these countries were initially started, they were in the communist control. Okay, it'll make more sense when we talk about it. Okay, so let's see. Who else? Let's see. Ghazala, would you like to read this part here, maybe? Canada joined. Can you try that part, please?
Canada. Okay. Okay, Brian. Okay, where is okay? Canada joined with another democratic countries of the West to form the North Atlantic Organization, NATO, a military alliance, and with the United States in the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD.
Very good, very good, very good. Excellent. Okay. So we had communism, we had the Cold War, we had Russia, and we had communists. And so Canada worked with other countries, other democratic countries like England and United States. And, you know, what we were in two groups that were trying to work together, trying to help fight the Cold War. One was this North Atlantic Treaty Organization, that's called NATO. That's called a military alliance. So what that means is, if one of those countries was attacked, so if, say one of those countries in NATO was attacked, somebody attacked them, the other countries would come and help them. That's what an alliance means, a military alliance. And then that was one, NATO. And then the other one is this North American Aerospace Defense Command. Everybody knows it by NORAD, NORAD. And what that is, that's with the United States only. And in the north of Canada, they have a big, they have these satellite, they have satellite dishes. And what they do, they look for any Russian planes or bombers or anything from Russia coming over. And they've been there for a long time. They do that now. We still have it. It's very important because, and this is in northern Canada, but it's for all of North America. And so North America is protected by NORAD, and then Europe and other countries on the Atlantic Ocean are protected by NATO. Those are questions that might be coming up today. Very good. Okay, let's see now. We got to get everybody else some reading today. Let's see. Mohammed, would you like to read this one here, where it says Canada joined international organization? Would you like to?
Canada joined the international organization such as the United Nations, UN. It participated in the UN operation defending South Korea in the Korean War, 1950 to 530. With 500 dead and 1,000 wounded, Canada has taken part in numerous UN protecting peacekeeping missions in the place as varied as Egypt, Carbis, Cobras, and Haiti, as well as in other international security organizations such as those in the former Yugoslavia and Afghanistan.
Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, good. Okay, so we were talking about the different groups Canada joined, the international engagement, what groups Canada joined. And one of the most very important groups is the United Nations, the UN. And this is very important because a Canadian Prime Minister, he thought of the UN. So a Canadian Prime Minister really started the United Nations. So that's very important for Canada. And what the United Nations does is it tries to protect different countries. And one of the countries they're trying to protect was the Korean War. And Canada fought in that, and 500 people were killed and 1,000 wounded. And then UN peacekeeping missions. So whenever there's a war or maybe two sides are fighting, Canada goes in the middle and tries to stop it. That's what a peacekeeping mission is. This here, peacekeeping. It means trying to keep the peace. And these are different countries such as Egypt, Cyprus, and Haiti. And yeah, so Canada is involved with the United Nations, and we don't have a big army. We're not a big country. We're not a big army like United States at all. We're a small army. So what we do, we have to use our military, our army, in a smart way. And what we try to do is do a lot of these peacekeeping missions where we go in the middle of two groups that are fighting, and we try to stop them from fighting. Yeah, and that's what Canada does. So the other thing is the United Nations. So again, we talked about, I'm just going to go back down here. We said we had NATO, we had NORAD, and then we had the UN, the United Nations. Those are usually type of questions that come up. Okay, let's see. I think I've got everybody make sure everybody's had a chance to read. So Mohammed read, Ghazala read, Zaniba read, Manal read, Diallo, you read too. Okay, so now let's see. Rashid, would you like to do the next part, please? Where it says Canada and Quebec. Can you do
Okay.
that part?
Okay. Canada and the Quebec, French Canadian society and the culture flourishing in the post-war years. Quebec experienced an era of rapid change in the 1960s, known as the Quebec Revolution. Many Quebecers sought to separate from Canada. In 1963, Parliament established the Royal Commission on bilingualism and biculturalism. This led to the Official Languages Act in 1969, which guarantees French and English services in the federal government across Canada. In 1970, Canada helped found La Francophonie in an international association of French-speaking countries.
Yeah, very good.
The
very good.
movement,
Okay, we'll just stop there for a second. So we got to get these ideas first.
okay.
Okay, so let's do these ones here. So this is Canada and Quebec. Okay, just 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so French Canadian Society. Okay, so here's the things to remember in this part here. The Quiet Revolution. Try to remember that. It's the 1960s, and they call it the Quiet Revolution. Why is that? Usually a revolution. Does everybody know what a revolution is? Does anybody know what a revolution is?
Yeah.
What's a revolution?
It's for people don't like what's
To
country.
try to change the government or the
Yeah.
law. Yeah.
Yeah, both of you are right. Rashid and Mohammed, you're both right. When people don't like something, they try to change it, right? But they usually do it. But it's not usually quiet. A revolution is usually noisy, right? So this one, exactly, you're both right. When they want something changed, usually a revolution, they make a big noise and maybe they have guns and they have a revolution to change it. But in Quebec, in the 1960s, they called it the Quiet Revolution. So there wasn't noise, there wasn't guns, but because it was they made a lot of changes in the 1960s. So Quebec changed a lot in the 1960s, and they called it the Quiet Revolution, the Quiet Revolution. So everything changed, but it was quiet. There wasn't any, guns or problems. And then good. And then Quebec has many times tried to separate from Canada. Many times they've tried to be their own country. And it's always a problem. It's a problem right now. Many Quebecers right now want to be their own country in Canada, even right now. And so this is the other question that comes up. This Royal Commission on Bilingualism. This is the Official Languages Act of 1969. Try to remember that. So try to remember these two things: Quiet Revolution, change in the 1960s, and then this one here, the Official Languages Act, 1969. That's when it says you can have French and English anywhere in the government in Canada. Okay, so that's what the government should do to make Quebec feel more welcome. Those things here. And then the other thing to remember here is this thing called La Francophonie. Do you remember what a francophone is? Does anybody remember what the word francophone means? Remember that word? Remember francophone? Remember that word francophone? Does anybody remember?
The people who speak French.
Yeah, exactly. Good. The people who speak French. So what this is, and then we had that other thing called the Commonwealth. And does anybody remember what the Commonwealth was? Commonwealth? Anybody remember that? That's okay. So
working together.
Yeah. Commonwealth
with other countries.
Yeah,
those
exactly.
who were British Empire under British Empire.
Exactly. That's what a Commonwealth. All the countries that were part of Great Britain's control, they're not part of Great Britain's control, but they still work together. That's called the Commonwealth. This one is the exact same thing, only it's French. It's not Great Britain, it's all the French countries. So all the countries that France controlled, but doesn't control anymore, that's the same thing. They work together, French-speaking countries. So Canada is part of two of those. Canada is part of the Commonwealth for all the countries that were controlled by Great Britain, and we're also part of La Francophonie, which was all the countries that were controlled by France. So we're lucky because we can have we can work with both groups, and so there's many countries all over the world that were controlled by England and controlled by France. And so this one is called La Francophonie. So that is also a question. So these are probably the questions. Quiet Revolution, Official Languages Act 1969, French and English in government, and this La Francophonie, Association of French-speaking countries. Those are the things to try to remember there. Yeah, we did it. Okay. And Mazen, since you showed up today, you get to read the last one. I think that's everybody. Did I miss anybody reading today? I think everybody's had a chance. Okay. Mazen,
Okay.
could you read this one here, please?
Yes, sure. The movement for Quebec surfacedly joined strong, but was delayed in referendum and the province in 1980 after much negotiation. In 1982, the constitution was amended without the agreement of Quebec. South surfacedly was again delayed in second referendum in 1995. The autonomy of Quebec was in Canada remains a lovely tables, part of the demands that communities to show our commentary.
Our country. Yeah, very good. Yeah, you got some good words there too, Matt. Okay, so let's see. Sovereignty. The movement for Quebec sovereignty. Does anybody remember what sovereignty means? Remember that word sovereignty? That's a difficult word.
Difficult.
Anybody remember?
Sound sovereignty means sound separate.
Yeah, exactly. Separate. Yeah. Sovereignty means to control your own country. Sovereign. So you're sovereign. You have control over your own country. So the Quebec sovereignty movement for Quebec sovereignty. So this says the movement for Quebec sovereignty gained strength. So more people were thinking, hey, we're Quebec, we should be our own country. And they had a vote in 1980. And a vote, when you vote for something like that, when you're voting on an idea, that's called a referendum. So they had a vote on this one question. Should Quebec be in Canada or be out? And most people said this should be in Canada. That was 1980. And so Canada was scared. Canada was very scared. At that time, it was Justin Trudeau's father was our prime minister, Pierre Trudeau. And he was a very smart man. He knew this was a big problem because if Quebec left Canada and became its own country, that would be very bad for all of Canada. And so what he did was he changed the constitution to try to help Quebec, but Quebec didn't like it, and they didn't agree. And so That was 1982. They tried to change the constitution to make it better for Quebec, but they didn't like it and they didn't agree. And so they had another vote in 1995. They said, they asked, should we separate? Should we become our own country? And again, most people said no, but it was very, very, very close. It was like 51% to 49% or something. It was very, very close. And so it says the autonomy of Quebec remains a lively topic. So that means that the idea of people in Quebec wanting to be their own country is a very important part of Canada. It makes it lively. It's always there. People in Quebec, sometimes they just say, we don't like Canada anymore, let's have another vote. And so that's what Canada always has to deal with that. Quebec always will say, oh, we don't like this, we want to be away, we want to be our own country. And so it's always a problem for Canada. And so this is part of modern Canada, because this is what we do now. We always have to think of what will Quebec do? What will Quebec do? Very good. That's a lot of reading for everybody. Okay, let's try some questions. Okay. And I've got a list here. So let's see. Mohammed, would you like to try the first one, please?
Okay. When began Canada modern angry industry in 1947?
Okay.
Number 4, the University of Oil in Alberta.
Very good. Yeah. Energy industry, 1947, discovery of oil in Alberta. Very good. And then Ghazala, would you like to do this one? Can you read it? I got to see.
Okay, when were the majority of Canada's ability to afford adequate food, shelter, and clothing for the first time? Can you give me 1 second? Okay, number 2, 1949. No. Number 1, 1945. 45.
Okay, do you want to double check?
1951.
Okay, number 3, 1951.
Very good, very good. Very good. 1951. Very good. Okay. And then Rashid, would you like to do this one? Rashid, are you here? Somebody just left by accident. Okay. Zaniba, would you like to do this one?
Okay, teacher, I try. Why do Canadians enjoy one of the world's highest standards of living? By working hard and by trading with the other national. By working hard and by member of agreement. This is he needed to. I say, and number 1.
Very good. Working hard and trading with other nations. That's why we have a high standard of living. Very good. Okay. And Manal, would you like to try this one?
Okay, teacher. When was introduced you employment institutions now called employment
Insurance. Employment insurance. Yeah.
19. First one, 1940. First one, teacher.
Thinking.
Very good. Yeah, you're very fast. That was very fast. Very good. Okay, and then let's see. Yeah.
When was old age security devised? In 1927.
Good. Very good. And then Mazen, I don't know when you came, but I don't know if you and Diala are sharing a computer, but you can do this one together if you don't remember. Do you want to do this one, Mazen?
Hmm. When were the Canada and Quebec plans delivered?
I'm just having trouble hearing you there, Mazen. I don't know if your microphone's working well, Mazen. I just can't hear you very well.
I
Oh,
don't
there you
know,
go.
but maybe I'm not here.
You can ask for help from Diala.
1965.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Good job. Okay. And then now we're back to Rashid. Are you here? Rashid? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, can you do this
yeah,
one?
I'm with you.
Okay, we lost you for a minute there. Can you do this one, Rashid?
يلا جي استنيني بس شي 10 دقايق بجي.
A minute, I think we lost Rashid. Just a second. Yeah, we lost Rashid. Okay. So back to Mohammed for this one, please.
Sorry, you tell me.
Yeah, Mohammed, could you do this one, please?
Yeah. Canada is not a member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization,
Yeah,
NATO.
Is
It's false.
false. Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay, and then Rashid, can you do this one while we still have you? Just a sec. I gotta.
okay.
Okay. There we go.
Canada is a member of the United Nations. It's true.
Very good. Good. Okay. Okay, and now we're back to forgot everybody. Rashid did one. Okay, and then Ghazala, can you do this one?
Right. What was the quiet rehabilitation
Yeah.
on the east and west? Okay. Number one, an area of prevention in the 1960 in Quebec.
Good. And then Zaniba, you've done, how many have you done? Zaniba, one or two? You've done one, right? Okay. Zaniba, can you do this one?
Yes, sure, teacher. Which is Crown French over. This is which is Crown French English serving federal government. Where we was teacher federal. Okay, I will try this one. Is so a little bit difficult. The French language, the English language, building language, official language. English service federal government is an official English language.
Very good. Yeah, that's the one that says you have to have French and English in governments across Canada. Very good. Okay. And then I'll give this hard one to Manal.
What are the two official language of Canada? Canada. French and English.
Sure it's not number 2?
No, number
Okay.
1.
Very good. Okay, very good. And then this one is for Diallo, please.
What is the La Francophonie? Is the French people who speak in countries. Number 3.
Very good. Very good.
Okay, bit lost.
And then this one is Mazen. Are you here? Mazen, are you here now?
Okay, I am here. I am
Okay.
here.
Yeah, you and Diallo are close because you're. That's okay. Can you do this one, please, Mazen?
Quebec enjoys sovereignty in Canada. True.
Do you remember the word sovereignty? What that means?
Yes, separate.
So is Quebec separate from Canada? That's what it means.
Yeah, I know.
You want me to say true?
True.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, so, yeah, it's okay. Quebec isn't separate from Canada yet. Maybe in the future, but not now. Yeah.